Hi students, I am Shaileyee welcoming you to the Medical and Pharmacy Crash Course division in the Knowledge Club online. Today, I will discuss on the Living World chapter, the biological classification. By the end of this section, you will be able to what is living world, biodiversity in the living world, systematics, taxonomy, functions of biological classification or taxonomy, classification guidelines, binomial nomenclature. Today, I will discuss the basic systems of the living world. Today's lecture will help you to understand next chapters and grow your knowledge on chapters like plant kingdom, animal kingdom, etc. So, not wasting the time with irrelevant talk. Don't skip the lecture. If you skip, you can miss a valuable points in between lecture for your exam. So stay tuned up to end. I am going to start today's episode. Let's start. The earth is a home of innumerable living beings. The living organisms live in close association with non-living, inanimate objects. Living beings are found in varied habitats like mountains, oceans, forests, lakes, deserts, and even hot water springs. The life as seen and felt today can hardly be defined or described. Life appeared on Earth millions of years ago. The biodiversity in the living world. The group comprising the plants and animals is so large and there are so many variations that previously it was almost impossible to arrange the heterogeneous collection in systematic order. All living organisms vary considerably in their form, structure, and mode of life. The diversity of minerals number in thousands, but there are millions of living species. There are more than 1.7 to 1.8 million species described and several more to be discovered yet. During the 3.5 billion years of life on Earth, many living species have become extinct and still many have evolved. Out of extinct species, some have been identified with the help of fossils. To select an organism of unknown characters from a large number of organisms is almost impossible. They should be classified, that is, divided into groups and subgroups, to arrange the plants and animals on definite plan makes the study of living organisms easy. Just by selecting few representative types from each class, a broad idea of life in this world can be received. Classification or systematics is as old as the power of speech. It is possible that man started giving names to plants and animals as soon as power of speech was acquired. This large diversity noticed in living organisms is due to organic evolution. In this chapter, we will consider some of the enormous varieties of plants and animals that exist and various ways in which they are related. First point is the systematics. The systematics is the classification of organisms into a hierarchical series of groups, which emphasizes their presumed evolutionary interrelationship. It is the study of the diversity of organisms and their identification, naming, classification, and evolution. It is based on the following fundamentals, that are the taxonomy, classification, identification, nomenclature, and key. Then what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the theory and practice of describing, naming, and classifying different kinds of organisms, that is plants and animals, all over the world. It is the branch of biology concerning with the study of classification according to their resemblance and differences. All living organisms can be classified into different taxa. The process of classification is taxonomy. The classification. It is the placing of an organism or group of organisms in categories according to a particular system with and in conformity with a nomenclature system, or is a mode of arranging organisms or group of organisms into categories according to a systematic plane as per nomenclature system. The point identification. It is to determine the exact place or position of an organism in a previously established the set plan of classification. The point nomenclature. The process or system of giving scientific names to plants and animals is called nomenclature. Nomenclature and classification go hand in hand and cannot be taken in isolation. In reality, both are inseparable. Next point, the key. A key provides a convenient way to easy identification of an organism by applying diagnostic or distinguishing character. New branches of systematic that are the cytotaxonomy or karyotaxonomy. It's based on the cytological information of cell or chromosome, their number and structure and behavior during cell division. Next one, the chemotaxonomy or biochemical taxonomy, based on biomolecules of the same, that is the beta-cyanic pigment in beetroots, raphids and cystolytic crystals. Sequencing of DNA and chemical nature of proteins are used to establish affinities among species. Number 3. The numerical taxonomy or Adansonian taxonomy, phonetics or taximetrics. Adanson is considered as developer. It involves analysis of various types of taxonomic data by mathematical or computerized method. It involves primitiveness and advancement or resemblance and differences between the species through statistical methods based on as many morphological characters as possible without any extra emphasis to anyone, followed by computer analysis, which is then used to erect taxonomic categories. Next one, the experimental taxonomy is based on experimental determination of the genetic interrelationship, identification of evolutionary units, that is subspecies or varieties within a system. New systematics, the term proposed by Sir Julian Huxley in the year 1940, or biosystematics. Cladistics classified organisms according to the historical order in which the evolutionary branches arose. This led to new systematics. Biological classification, the ability of identifying distinctions among organisms and placing them into groups that reflect their most significant features and relationship. The functions of biological classification or taxonomy, that it recognizes and describes the basic taxonomic units or species. It tells a possible way of grouping these units on the basis of their resemblance and relationships. As the species have a common ancestor, all the members of a species have same hereditary or genetic material. Phylogenetic classification or cladistic. Biologists are ignoring the morphological similarity or difference. This system of classification is to develop new approaches using taxonomic affinity based on evolutionary as well as genetic relationships among organisms besides morphology. While examining the various characteristics, our taxonomists should keep in mind the various similarities and dissimilarities in the following field: the morphology, the external character; anatomy, the internal structure; the cytology, the cell structure; physiology, life process; ontology, the development, reproduction, behavior, biochemistry, etc. Next one is the homology. Homology is a relationship of comparable structures in different organisms. Similarly, homologous structures are those which develop from similar embryonic rudiments, are similar in basic structures, plan and development, and hence reflect a common genetic endowment and evolutionary relationship. In contrast, analogous organs are superficially similar and serve a similar function but have quite defined basic structures and developmental patterns. For example, arm of a man, the wing of a bat or bird, and flipper, pectoral or front fin of a whale are all homologous, with basically similar patterns of bones, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels and similar embryonic origins, though rather different in functions. The wing of a bird and wing of a butterfly is contrast as simply analogs. Both enable their processors to fly, but they have no developmental process in common. To understand various taxonomic relationships, branches like cytology, ecology, genetics, floral morphology, and plant geography, etc. are also being used. The branch of taxonomy which believes that individuals are mere expression of same type in terms of morphological variations is called classical taxonomy. Due to phylogenetic studies, it has been established that species is a dynamic and ever-changing entity. This view has been supported by studies on cell and genetics, the cytotaxonomy. Species based on pure morphological characters are being gradually changed by keeping in mind the characters drawn from other branches of biology. Chemotaxonomy is also being used to study the plant relationships. This branch tells us the taxonomic relationships based on the distribution of certain characteristic chemical constituents. Next point, that is the binomial nomenclature. Is a system of naming of plants, animals, and other biological objects. This term introduced in the year 1751 by Carolus Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist. Each species is given two names. Every name comprises of two words, a substantive, that is genus, and an adjective, the species. Rules of nomenclature go on changing in different international conferences. A few common recommendations for nomenclature areas that the plant and animals should be given independent names. Number 2. The genus. The generic name should have its first letter as capital, the uppercase, and species with first letter as small, the lowercase. Third point. The first word will represent the genus. Second, the species, and third, its present will be subspecies or variety. Fourth point, the scientific name must be printed in italics or underlined if italics are not possible, such as handwritten word. Some examples are the human, the Homo sapiens, underline under the Homo sapiens. If we write in computerized form, we can write in italics, not require the underline. Chimpanzee, pan troglodyte, underline at pan troglodyte, underline. The dog, Canis, underline. Familiaris, underline. California red, the sequoia, underline. Sempervirens, underline. Bobcat, lynx, underline. Canadensis, underline. E. coli bacteria, essay required, underline, wholly, underline. Point number 5. Correct and original spellings of a name should be maintained. The name of the author should be written after the specific name in Roman type and without comma between them through not written italics. Names derived from those given by lineage are derived by L or lin, e.g. magnifera indica L or lin. 7 point. Within the plant or animal kingdom, no two genera have been the similar name, and within genus, no two species can have the same name. Point number 8. The name should be short, precise, and easy to pronounce. Point number 9. The name should refer to some important character of the plant. Point number 10. The name should be in Latin or can easily be converted into Latin. Point number 11. The name should not contain less than 3 and 12 letters. Now, the rules are stabilized and are given in ICBN, the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, and ICZN, the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Lanzhou gave the following principles for classifying the plants. Difficult and long generic names should be avoided, but few exceptions are there. The Stuart-Sachs Echinogramus and the Taxonomy. Species should not identified due to its size. Color should not be criterion for difference. Species should have a smaller name. Every species should have a generic name. Revise it. I am very much sure about it. You will require less time to remember all these tips. Write me at the comment box how much you enjoyed and time to remember after viewing today's lecture. Next episode, we will discuss on taxonomy categories and its mnemonics for easy to memorize the steps of taxonomy characteristics. If you like this video, please like, share and comments freely. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. If you already subscribed, then thanks a lot. After subscribing our channel, please click on the bell button for getting the regular updates. I am coming with another episode very shortly. Till then, goodbye.